Well, your child's doctors should be rather someone you trust, but what happens if communication between you and your healthcare providers break down?
Yeah, one mom says that's exactly what happened during her son's dentist appointment that left him without one tooth without warning. IT mate Stephanie Zepelin dug into the issue of consent for treatment.
Yeah, Heather Houston contacted us because she says what happened at her son's dentist appointment just wasn't right.
It's a typical afternoon for a 10-year-old.
I love you.
I love you too.
Time away from school.
AJ, she right there. She right there.
Is spent fighting bad guys with his siblings.
No!
At home, I like to play on the Xbox or tablets or play with my sister and brother.
And like a typical 10-year-old, he's not a fan of doctor and dentist appointments. One dentist visit several months ago still sticks in his mind.
They said, are you ready to get your tooth pulled? And I thought they actually told her that.
His mom says the dentist pulled the trigger too soon.
I had an appointment, he had an appointment for a consultation, and it went beyond the consultation.
Heather Houston says when she was finished with her appointment, Christian was not in the waiting room. He'd already been taken back for his appointment.
And then he was laying there already gassed up and his tooth had already been pulled. So they did not let me know at all what they were doing.
Houston was furious and does not feel she consented to the procedure.
What did they tell you the appointment was for?
A consultation, that's what the appointment was initially set for. Not a tooth pulling, we were just going to talk about the tooth that needed to come out.
Christian thought the dentist already told his mom.
So what did you say when they said, are you ready to get your tooth pulled?
Nothing. I was just already numbed.
You just don't pull a child from a waiting room without the consent of a parent. He's 10 years old. He himself couldn't even say, yes, I need this pulled.
We called Fountain Square Dental to get their side of the story. They could not talk about Christian's specific case because of privacy laws. We asked them to comment on their standard procedures for consent, but they told us they had no comment. Instead, we talked with another dentist about consent.
Communication and education of the patient is the #1 thing we do.
Dr. Rebecca De La Rosa served on the state dental board and spent the last 28 years in family dentistry.
We have consent multiple times verbally, and in my office, I do not have a written consent. Many doctors, if they are going to apply a local anesthesia, or if they're going to have the patient in the hospital, they will have a written consent.
Written consent for each procedure is not required in the state of Indiana, but many dentists, including Dr. De La Rosa, have a general consent form for all new patients to sign. Here's the consent form Houston signed for her son when they joined Fountain Square Dental back in July 2016. It explains risks with different procedures, including tooth extractions. But the American Academy of Pediatric Dentistry says, quote, a patient or parents signing a consent form should not preclude a thorough discussion, which is exactly what Dr. De La Rosa says they do in her office.
We will always review what we are doing again and why we are doing it. For example, Mrs. Jones, you are here today because we're going to be completing 3 fillings on the upper right. Is that okay with you?
Houston says nothing of the kind happened in her situation.
I was stunned. I was just floored. I could not believe that they would go and get him and perform an oral surgery on him without the acknowledgement of mom. And I'm right there in the same building.
Houston says she does not want money. She just wants to make sure this doesn't happen to another family. She's taking the issue to the Indiana Dental Association. They'll do a peer review and see if they can reach a resolution between Houston and her son's dentist.
This is really eye-opening because I think most parents don't even think about this. I mean, this just isn't an issue they think about. So what should parents do?
Exactly. You don't think about it because you want to be able to trust your providers. But Dr. De La Rosa says when you sign that general consent form when you join a practice, read it. Make sure that you actually understand it. And when a dentist says they want to do a procedure, ask them questions and don't let them move forward until you feel comfortable with what they're telling you and you feel like you're aware of everything that's going to go on. But if you still have an issue with your dentist, you can take them to the Dental Association or make a complaint with the State Board of Dentistry.
All right, great to know. Stephanie, thanks.
Thank you.